EPMD, Unfinished Business. Never heard it. I heard their debut album, but somehow this one slipped by me. There was only one big single from this album, but it sold really fast. It came out in August, and by October, it went gold. To be completely honest, I was never a big EPMD fan until Redman entered the fold, so I basically listened to them from the 90s on, and I never went back to this one, so I'm going to fix that now. Continuing with their business theme, the Employees of the Year are back to work with their first single, So What You're Saying. They did a handful of videos for this album, but this is the only one that charted. The thesis of the song is basically to get back at all the haters that said they couldn't do it, or maybe they were a fluke, and to take shots at anyone that thought they didn't deserve to be where they were. One of the most famous lines on that album is people around town talking this and that of how we sound like R and our music was whack, which is a reference to their mini beef with Rakim. On the song You're a Customer, Paris says, it's like dig 'em smack, smack me and I smack you back. And I guess Rakim doesn't eat cereal because he thought this was a reference to his line, you can get a smack for this from I Ain't No Joke. Someone followed the leader. Rakim says, into the danger zone, he should arrange his own. Face it, it's basic, erase it, change your tone, which is a reference to Lounge Homeboy, You're in the Danger Zone from It's My Thing. Apparently the erase your tone line is a reference to the idea that some people thought that Parrish and Rakim sounded alike, which I don't really hear it. But apparently these two guys met, they squashed the beef, and it's over, which is great because this felt completely unnecessary. Next we have Total Chaos, spelled with a K. I'll be honest, EPMD has a lot of head-scratching lyrics, but one of the lines from this song really threw me for a loop. Eric says, and if you're tired, yo, go take a nap, which is already referencing a song from their past album, but I digress. And if you're tired, yo, go take a nap, or close your eyes and chank them like a jab. Next we have Get the Bozak. First of all, I know this song, and I know that DMX used this same sample for Get At Me Dog, and I also know that DMX had beef with K Solo. But there's one thing about this song that I never really thought about until I went back and listened to this. Did DMX choose this beat just to mess with K Solo? Because I know he references him in the song, but this beat is also a diss to him too. This EPMD album is the first album that K Solo ever appeared on. Now he doesn't appear on this song, he actually appears on Knick Knack Paddywhack, but that song features a Joe Cocker sample that Dr. Dre would use in 1996 for California Love. And DMX would have to be crazy to use the same sample that Dr. Dre just used 2 years ago for one of the biggest songs ever. So, did he just choose another beat from this album just to mess with K Solo? I don't know, but seems plausible. Next we have the second installment in the Jane series. In the first installment, Eric meets a girl and has sex with her. That's kind of the whole story. In this installment, Parrish meets a girl, has sex with her, and finds out it's the same girl that Eric had sex with in the first installment with a different haircut. The Jane series gets much weirder after this, especially Jane 3, which features a prescient mention of Bruce Jenner. And if you've never heard it, prepare to get your mind blown. Next we have Please Listen to My Demo, which features EPMD kind of letting their guard down a little bit and letting us know how hard it was for them to get on. And gotta appreciate that. Next we have It's Time to Party. This song sounds like the record company wanted a crossover hit. Compared to the other production on this album, this song sounds really out of place, which is sad because it features some of their most energetic rapping. Well, energetic for EPMD. Next we have Who's Booty, which is a story rap about meeting a girl, but I'm not completely sure I understand the story. Eric meets a girl, they go back to her place, the girl says, please be gentle with me, and then Eric leaves because, I don't know. He feels betrayed by her somehow, and he refuses to have sex with her until he finds out who's booty. In the next verse, Paris meets a girl. They go back to her place. They start having sex, and then he finds out that the girl is less than hygienic. Because the girl smells, he assumes that she has AIDS, so he leaves. This verse is definitely wrong-headed, but at least it makes sense from a story standpoint. Next we have The Big Payback, which is another single from this album, but somehow it never charted. I have to admit, I know this song, but I've never seen this video, and I'm sorry I missed it. In the video, Eric gets kidnapped by a bunch of sucker MCs, and then he has to be rescued by Parrish, NWA, Tone Loc, and K Solo. It's pretty epic. Next we have Strictly Snappin' Necks, and one of the most impressive things about this song is that it's sample free. A lot of albums around this time, when they use sample free beats, they use these really big 808 drums that sounded cool at the time, but as time passes, it sounds really dated. This song has a minimal beat that's both hard hitting and mellow at the same time, and I have to say the production is one of their biggest strengths. These guys have a really great ear for beats. And remember, this isn't just Eric producing these songs. They got equal credit. Next we have Knick Knack Paddywhack, which sounds like it's supposed to be a posse cut, but they didn't have enough MCs. It's like they called up a bunch of people, but K Solo was the only person that showed up. In case you didn't know, K Solo's name stands for Kevin Self Organization Left Others. I don't know what that means either. But K Solo caught the first of many L's on this song. K Solo's hook is that he tends to spell things out. And in the middle of this song, he goes on one of his spelling rants, and he misspells the word bird. Aside from that, I do like the back and forth in this song, and the Dog Pound did a remake of this song for some compilation where new school rappers did old songs. It's not that good. This song is much better. I don't know why I brought that up. Next we have You Had Too Much to Drink. This song sounds like one of them got arrested for drunk driving, and now their community service stipulated that they had to write a song telling kids not to drink and drive. This literally sounds like a middle school drug awareness sketch with the most 80s sounding guitar riffs I've ever heard, and Frank B doing a bad Scarface impersonation. They also did a video for this song, which features the one and only LL Cool J. Last but not least, we have It Wasn't Me, It Was the Fame. This song is the thesis statement of the whole album. It feels like a hybrid of Please Listen to My Demo and The Big Payback, where they're just talking to all the doubters that didn't believe that they couldn't do it in the first place. And after they did do it, they didn't believe that they could do it again. And god damn it, they did it again. How I measure if an album is a classic is that I ask myself, did it push the culture forward? Did it add something that wasn't there before? And going just by that definition, I would have to say no. There's nothing production-wise or lyric-wise that's done on this album that wasn't done on the album before this. But the reason why I have to say this album is a classic is because they didn't change anything. EPMD aren't dexterous rappers like Big Daddy Kane and Rakim. They aren't as charming and funny as Slick Rick and KRS-One. They aren't as forceful as Public Enemy and NWA. And that's exactly what makes them so great. On paper, the success of EPMD doesn't make sense. They're two MCs that basically have the same flow. They're a little mushmouth, and one of them has a lisp. Unlike so many other rappers, they're not superheroes. They don't even have superhero names. They're rapping as themselves. They're just two guys that worked hard, believed in themselves, and ended up with a gold record. And when people thought it was a fluke, they believed in the process so much, they did it again and went gold again. And that's why this album is a classic. Probably not the whole album. There's quite a few clunkers on this one, but there's quite a few songs that I would go back to too. I personally don't think they became decent rappers until their third album, Business as Usual. That album got mixed reviews, but I think they really stepped their game up as rappers on that one. But Business Never Personal? Nah. So have you heard Unfinished Business? Are you still bumping it to this day? I'm gonna keep reviewing albums until I run out. Until then, I'm Free Tillman, the only guy on the internet that doesn't know everything. Peace.